What's up, guys? Mikey in the building. Hope you guys had a great day today. I definitely had a lot better day today than I did yesterday. Yesterday was kind of a little choppy for me, and then I ended up small red, which is okay. I need to get better at just identifying more better daily setups and or just kind of having a big wave and then trying not to force that wave to continue, if that makes sense. Get like super overly excited and then try to hammer these plays when I need to stick to plays that are really got the volume, got the range, and got what I like to see up on the book. Smash the thumbs up. There's a code down there for you guys for Bookmap to save you a few bucks. I will be going over OMND. What a pike. I completely piked this one for sure. And then I'm going to go over PEGY. PEGY was phenomenal. This is a great return on PEGY for me. I'm going to go over this one real quick. This kind of started my day. Did not catch any of this. Wow. Got lots to learn, right? This is the great thing with the book, though, right? Is it's 20:30 right now, Eastern time, and I got plenty of time to go back, see how things were auctioned, how they set up the price, and then so forth. I got level 2 on this, which is okay, but um, okay, going back down there, crazy front runner to 600K bid save on that one. But it's like, wow, gotta go all the way back down to where I played this. Okay. Um, you know, in the beginning of this too, early morning, had some good volume right here on the one. I thought this was a nice consolidation pattern. I always draw the zones. Draw your breakdown zones where they break down, where they try, redraw them, constantly draw them, and then look for important key levels. All right. I didn't map out 133s. This is probably why I piked it until after I sold majority of my shares into that dollar break, which is okay. Still a good return on this one, um, just about 40%, which is great. Um, but it's so important to go back and to just look for key important levels, right? I always focus on high volume VWAP days. All right, and then after that, looking for gaps and bids. Keep it simple. I learned to keep it simple. Okay, I actually added into this breakdown after I missed this. I saw the start of the spike, and then I looked at this zone holding up right here and was willing to add anything holding above this zone. All right, what really got me on this one, right? Really nice sweep right here. So this is that breakdown zone. You see it coming down, sweeping back up, putting some bids. 68 cents is really important when this pulled back into the area, previous area of interest. But then this 40K bidder showed its hand twice. Pulled it, a little spoof bid, pulled it up, and then shoved it up here, another price layer. Look at this like layers of cakes, or layers. All right, but this is why I added and took this position, and then I continuously rode this up for that dollar break. Okay, pullbacks. I have a lot of guys asking me like, how do you hold these? Well, for one, two, just in general, right? I'll go over PEGY. PEGY was insane, and I was holding, just be able to hold size and watch my P&L just go up is crazy, but not to me anymore. I practice holding, looking at a daily setup, and when I go back, review most of my trades, all of my trades at that, I always realize like, man, I had the idea, had the soaks, had the right average, had the good risk, but I gave it up because it popped, it squeezed, right? Things need to pull back. Um, and the reason why things need to pull back is if they pull back and they consolidate, it adds a new layer of buyers, potentially more bids, and then things start to open up and squeeze and start getting extended or reach or fill another area on the daily, right? Fill its gap. So pullbacks, So I got used to things breaking out and then watching it pull back and then seeing, oh, I should have sold up there. And PEGY will be an example of one because I don't really swing trade. You know, there might be some people still swinging that one. Maybe the guy who had 13s, which is, you know, hoorah on him, is still swinging that one, right? Doesn't come back. But PEGY, I should have sold more at the top. I'll show that one later. But this one was a great breakout, pulls back to a previous area of interest and starts to put in some higher lows. Okay, there's a lot of areas where sellers get absorbed, selling gets exhausted, and then this thing starts to break out. All right. Um, I just wanted to go over my little entry right there. Caught a nice little 4 figgy off this one, and kind of was just like, all right, gotta go do some other things, morning routine with the kids. But you know, I wish I would have saw this and paid attention to this area even more. Um, this one was a great breakdown. Very quiet. Okay, gotta be quiet. Um, this was a really great example of a seller coming down into these bids. If you see this right here, this got sold into, and then a new bidder came on right here and still held this up. Sellers got exhausted, and then you started to see this actually proceed with some these spoof bids. This removed this liquidity right here, pulled back, immediately sweeped it, and then a new bidder came in, and then you see some continuation right here. And you know, unfortunately, this is sitting at 230, so got a lot to learn on that one. But you know, still 40% is 40%. PEGY, PEGY was just amazing. All right, PEGY, PEGY was a really good daily breakout so far. Okay, PEGY, PEGY, PEGY. What do we got? Actually, we got a decent close on this too. I'll be looking for this into tomorrow for continuation for more of this gap fill as well. All right, daily wise, super key level over here on 516, 15 cents was that VWAP day, and then they had all this kind of funk going on. It tries again to break out, so this is a obviously right, highs is a key level. Consolidates again, and then we start to gap up above 15 cents. So keep that in mind. Um, I learned to keep things very simple now. Previous day high volume VWAP days, are we gapping above it? Are we consolidating? How's the bid? How's the structure? And leave it at that. Everything else is, I think, a bunch of noise. You get caught up in the sauce with that, and looking for strong plays with volume, liquidity. That's where I tend to stay now most of the time. Actually, like 98% of the time. You can see this has a lot of strong volume on this one. Actually, pretty much exceeded almost that 516 day. Okay, so you got this pop consolidation, low volume consolidation. Then we start to gap up. I drew a zone on this one. You know, I know a lot of people draw them different, but I drew this zone from the top of this zone. This is not a breakdown zone right here, right? But I drew this zone trying to match it up with areas where it tries, and then pre-market actually cranks up, gets above it. Some buyers step up here, so I ran that straight across. All right, open market. Okay, open market. This thing pulls back into this area, and this is where I started to get super excited with PEGY. Okay, all right, I started to add in this whole entire area. This was a particular really good ad that I took a big starter in this higher low area, and then even again right here into this area. It had a really solid 16, almost 17 cent average on this with some size. This one was great to me. All right, the book. The book was phenomenal on this one. All right, I'm going to go over this really quick. Um, this was that area, particularly in this morning. Right, this is that whole breakdown area where this tried to break down into this area. 15 cent had a nice front runner on there. All right, over 100K. But something to really, for me, that was important to really look at was to see these breakdown areas, right, where sellers came in, right? Sellers did remove this liquidity, but sellers got absorbed, sellers got exhausted. All right, there's this perfect example right here, another one right here, and they sweep it, and then again, this other one right here before it actually starts to play ball, which was the really massive, or this is where I really averaged up even more into this. All right. Um, super key to me, right, is it's super important to where we're trading these. So to me, this was amazing because this was that zone that I had drawn out on this one. I wanted to see it hold up. 15 cents was important, and then how much volume this was cranking, and this was not breaking down or getting heavy. Right? There's a lot of control. There's pockets, all these pullbacks, setting up higher lows, and which is phenomenal, right? Yeah, snag the higher lows, risk. It's clear, right? 16 cents now at this point. If this doesn't hold up, it's clear. What was nice was these, again, same type of thing that I saw on OMND popped up right here on PEGY, right? Um, if also too, level 2 on this one was insane. I know a lot of the guys in the room saw this too. Anytime these pulled back and they did a sweep, right? These pulled back immediately. The 400K was on the level 2. Huge quads, right? Quad bids, where there's multiple exchanges, same number, like 175, 175, 175, 175. Or you had a single guy who would come up here with 4,100 lots on the level 2, right? That's probably that's 400,000 right there. Multiple time on these sweeps. So a combination of level 2 and the book was great right here. But this was that same thing I saw on OMND. Thanks, Kels, for throwing scans out, which was great on this one. And then we started to break out. All right, this was. I always talk about pullbacks, guys. Pullbacks, right? People ask me, how do you hold? Blows my mind. I got used to holding because things need to pull back, consolidate, right? If things are going to break out and actually test or fill more gaps, it's nice for them to pull back, consolidate, and then for a new wave of buyers to come in or to average up in, right? This is where I averaged up 19s on this pullback. This was a nice big 5-minute consolidation flag. There's also control. I want to point out some key things right here. You see there's offers being put up, right? But then they get pulled. All right, this right here lightens up as well. Wasn't even that big, and then it gets pulled, and then you see some bidders come in, some exhaustion, and then some continuation. A lot of key things. All right, this is where I averaged up because I saw the same exact thing that I saw right here down below at 16s. All right, some seller came in. I always like to say I wait for liquidity to be tested, and then I make a decision on how I'm going to play this long. All right, same thing short too. Um, Sellers get exhausted, no more follow through, and another sweep comes. All right, phenomenal. Yes, that level 2 bidder showed his hand again. Thank you very much. It's really important to pay attention and then stay on this. This one was great. This filled a huge gap. I thought we would get over this. This is an area where I wish I would have took um, the rest of the 80K off, but instead I held it for a little bit too long and was like, oh, well, what am I going to do? So I ended up taking it off down here, but it's okay. And actually, it's up a little bit more. But I wish I would have actually scaled a little bit more up here. There wasn't a lot of bid support, and you can kind of see that, right? Not a lot of bid support. They test this area once, but there's not a lot of appetite. Doesn't continue. It was probably exhausted, and we're sitting over here at 23 cents. So I'll keep this one on watch for tomorrow. Um, great play. Yeah, some strong close. We got any bids? A little bit of bids, a little bit of ask. 23. So I'll be keeping this one on watch. But that's pretty much all I got, guys. Hope you guys have a good night. See you tomorrow.